What if anger isn't the problem? What if anger is actually one of the most honest, intelligent signals your body has? Most of us didn't grow up learning how to understand anger. We learned to fear it, to suppress it, to judge it, or to express it in ways that didn't feel good afterward. So now, as parents, anger can feel like something we need to control, something we need to get rid of, and something that makes us question ourselves in the hardest moments. But anger doesn't show up randomly. It shows up when something matters, when something feels unfair, when something feels disrespected, or when something important to you is being overlooked or dismissed. Welcome back to Twos to Teens, Parenting Authentically Through the Seasons with Betty and Ellie. In this final episode of our emotion series, Anger, the Misunderstood Emotion, we are exploring anger as one of the most misunderstood emotions in life and parenting. And we're going to begin relating to it differently. The energy inside anger is not there to work against you, is actually connected to something deeper. It's connected to the instinct to protect what matters, to the clarity to recognize when something is out of alignment, to the part of you that knows this is important. When we begin to understand anger in this way, it starts shifting. Instead of reacting to the intensity of the feeling, we begin to listen what it's pointing towards: a value, a need, a boundary asking to be recognized. And this doesn't just apply to us, it applies to our children too. When a child expresses anger, they're not being difficult. They're communicating something that matters to them, even if they don't know yet how to say it with words. And our role is not to shut it down, is to help them understand it, to help them feel it safely, and to help them express it in a way that keeps connection. And at the same time, continue to lead. Because holding space for anger doesn't mean we remove the boundaries. It gives us information that helps us hold them with more clarity. In this episode, we're exploring how to work with anger in a conscious way, how to stay with the feeling long enough to understand it without letting it take over, and how to support your child in expressing anger while it's still guiding the moment with steadiness. And how this emotion, when understood, can become a pathway to deeper connection, clearer communication, and more aligned parenting. Anger isn't here to work against you, it's here to show you what matters. I am Betty Artiaga Muriel, certified parent coach and founder of Your Parenting Story. I work with driven, high achieving parents who are thriving in their outer world but feel overwhelmed and disconnected at home. I guide them from surviving family life to leading their families with strength, compassion, and connection. And I'm so happy to be having this conversation alongside Ellie, who also shares this passion for supporting parents in a deeper, more connected way. Ellie, can you tell us a little more about yourself before we dive in?
Hi, I'm Ellie Knott, founder of Ellie Chase Coaching. I'm a preschool teacher turned parent coach, and I help parents of young children who are feeling really overwhelmed with all of the noise about what they feel like they should be doing to find their most authentic parenting path so they can raise their children with more confidence, connection, and joy. And I'm very excited about this episode today. A lot of times, or most of us, we've experienced anger in not so healthy ways. Anger that feels really intense and too much and overwhelming. Most of us are probably familiar with anger as screaming, yelling, maybe cursing, maybe physical expressions of anger, right? Some of us may have had truly unsafe experiences with anger, right? Or maybe it's slamming doors. Maybe it's the slamming the dishes on the table as you set as you set out dinner, right? And doing things with a lot of force but not actually feeling that emotion in a healthy way and expressing it in a healthy way. And we are going to have a new perspective on it today. And I know, Betty, you have some really great tools that parents can use to start experiencing anger in a more healthy way.
Yes, and I want to start by saying that anger I've learned to see anger in a very compassionate way. Anger is the emotion that loves me the most, that loves us the most, is the one that comes when something feels crossed, when things don't feel aligned, when we feel like um we are being pulled against what feels fair, when something is dismissed, when things matter to us so much but nobody else seems to see it, when there is a need in us so big that it feels like it's been so long since we tended to it, and it grows and it grows. But anger is just a communicator. Anger is that messenger telling you it is okay for you to feel this way about this. It is okay for you to feel that that was not fair, that that was not okay. It is okay for you to know that this is important to you and this is worth fighting for. So the energy of anger gets misconstrued because anger is a mobilizing emotion. Some other emotions we feel it differently, but anger in the body, it is mobilizing. You need to move it, it needs to come out. Why? Because it's also one of those emotions that will help us in critical moments, right? It is one of those emotions that will get us moving if we are in danger. So it is very smart and it knows that you are going to need that surge in case you need to defend yourself because things are feel very unfair. So you could be the anger, right? Is the communicator is telling you, this is not right. This is not sitting well with me. And then once we're able to feel it, to feel the whole experience of the anger coming and the message that is bringing, then we are able to kind of hold it, sit with it, and channel that energy into what we want. So that's the secret. And I know you've guys heard it before. We hear it in sports. We hear it in the arts, like people that do acting, right? They'll tell you, use your anger. I know we've heard that many times before. Use that anger and use it into creating this new thing, or use this anger and use it as a motivation to win. And that is what we call that healthy aggression, right? Because we are recognizing that the energy, the surge of energy that comes with the emotion of anger is something that we can canalize and we can use it to do bigger things. So that's why anger is so beautiful, and it felt very important to us to dedicate a whole episode on this. We want you to understand and see anger from a different perspective so we can move from being the always angry parent. And I know most of us have are in this cycle of our parents were the always angry parents, and now we know we're a always angry junior, and it doesn't feel right because all we know how to do with anger is to push it down and then let it explode. So this conversation is about that. Ellie, anger. I know it is a very delicate topic to talk to parents with themselves, but I also want your perspective in anger in kids. Is my kid being angry, does that make them a bad kid?
Not at all. Not at all. Again, it's their communicator, right? It's letting them know that a boundary's been crossed or they have a need that's going unmet. Um, and so when we see this anger coming up in them, again, it can feel scary for us if we are not familiar with anger as a communicator. And if we've had unsafe experiences with anger, right? So we may have this inclination to let's shut it down, right? No, we don't yell, we don't hit, right? Because these are probably the things that a child is going to go to when they feel angry because they don't know what to do with it yet, right? This lines up with everything we've talked about in this entire series leading up to this. Um, and so when they have that anger, how can we help them express it? How can we help them hear what that voice is trying to tell them and do something productive with it? Right? So we may need to give them that moment to just feel. And soon Betty will give us some healthy aggression practices to show you how you can actually do this. But we'll give them that moment to feel, to let it go through the body, to give that energy a chance to actually get out, right? And then we can, again, come in with the communication, come in with the learning, right? This is where we teach them what you're feeling, right? That big force you felt in your body, your tight muscles, right? All of that energy, feeling like you wanted to yell, that's called anger. You were feeling angry. And I'm really curious why you were feeling angry. When we feel angry, it means our body is trying to tell us something. It needs something. What is your body needing right now? Do you have any ideas? We're going to help them get that out. And once they've stated that need, we're going to figure out if we can help them meet that need. It might be a simple yes, right? Especially now that we've gotten them calm and we've gotten them to a place where they could express it and they could ask for it in an appropriate way, right? They're not yelling and screaming for it and we're just giving it to them, right? We've walked them through it. We've helped them express it in a good way. And maybe it's a yes. Maybe it's a no, and that's okay. Even if we know from the very second that anger starts, even if we know that they are never going to be able to have the thing that they are angry about, we still walk through this process because it is not about this moment. It's about teaching them that anger is safe. It's about teaching them to hear what the anger is telling them and teaching them to be able to ask for what they need, right? Because their needs are important. And we want them to be able to say this.
Yeah, to when you mention the need, right? You mentioned that we are telling them what the need matter, and it's such a beautiful experience when to know as a parent that you don't have to give in when they're angry. We go to this need, and in many cases we just want to be heard. When we're angry, we just want the other person to understand how important this was to us or how much they wrong us. Right? And it could be anything with the little kids, even with them. I'm gonna go like with the more grown kids. Let's say preteens, teens. They want to go out with their friends and they can't because they have to do chores or they have to do homework, and it feels so unfair to have to stop the fun because they need to do this boring thing that they can do later. And they feel like we don't know how important it is to them to socialize, to see their friends, and to do what they want to do. So then anger comes up because anger is telling them this doesn't feel good. This isn't right. They don't get it. Right? We've heard that before. The ones that we have older kids, we've heard that you don't get it. You don't understand. And in the moment when Ellie was mentioning, even if we know they're not gonna get it, they're still not gonna get out. Sometimes just being like, hey, when I was your age, I was also very, very angry whenever I had to miss something for this, or if I had to miss a big commitment, a big party, or something that is fun, to do something that I have to do but don't want to, I will also be frustrated. And it's okay that you feel frustrated right now because it's a normal thing for you to feel this way because you're not getting to do the fun thing that you wanted. And just for them to know that we are able to interpret the experience, that we're able to understand up to a certain point what is important to them, then anger feels that it did its job. Anger is like, well, they get it, so now it can come down.
Mhm. Yeah. And they might still not be happy about that, and it's okay, right? And then there also will be moments where there is space for some creative problem solving, right? Maybe it's not a yes, it's not a no, but it's a maybe. It's a let's talk about this. I hear how important this is to you, and I wonder if there's a way that we can get everyone's needs met here, right? Which is something that me and Betty both help parents with when we coach them is creating this new framework and these new dynamics in the family. And so, like with your example, you said about you can't go hang out with your friends because you need to do these chores, and so maybe there's a situation where it's okay, and you can go out with your friends. But you're going to need to get these chores done first, right? So maybe you're going to go, but you're going to go, a half hour late because you're going to get this done first. Or maybe you're going to do it after. Um, right? Or you're going to do it the next day. But if you don't follow through with that, we're not going to be able to make that same agreement again the next time a situation like this comes up, right? So it's all about that need is coming up, and then we're figuring out if we can meet the need. And then again, sometimes we can't, but it's got to be heard. And so then, like Betty said, it'll start to calm down instead of lingering and festering and just sitting there, right? We've all felt that where we just feel stuck and we can't shake it off. And it's not a fun feeling.
No, and anger won't let you do that because anger likes to be heard. Anger definitely is one of those feelings that it's not that we cannot suppress it because most of us have lived our lives suppressing it, but it really wants to be heard and it will come back. When your kids come back and they be like, "Hey, you remember that you said we were gonna get donuts to right? Remember that you said this." That's anger right there. Hey, remember that we didn't get that before. Remember that they didn't help you with the dishes yesterday either. Right? Anger, it's like that because it wants you to look out for yourself. Same thing for your kids. Anger wants them to look out for themselves, to look out for what feels good. So, where do we go from anger as an explosion to anger as an energy that we can use for good, right? Or for collaboration. um Ellie mentioned something really good about doing making like arrangements with your kids. This is like letting your kids convince you. If it is not a hard no, like they're definitely not getting them, sometimes opening that little space of maybe can help them in many ways. It can help them clarify why is this even important to me? Why is anger coming right now? What is it really that I'm looking for here? It also helps them develop their voice. Now they're gonna be able to take that mobilizing energy that comes with the anger, and they're gonna be able to put it into, you know what, I'm gonna do all of the things that we set up so I can get to go, or so I can get to do this, and I can put my energy into this and not into the sulking, slamming the doors, and cussing, or any other of the other behaviors. That able to, yes, the energy is still there, and then now we can use it for something else. So it is very important for us to know that anger will always be there. It is always going to come. We're not going to erase it. It is not an emotion for us to throw away and never come in just because our experience with it has not been the best. This work, the invitation that we have for you is, let's see anger for what it is, as the messenger telling you when things for you are super important, and when a need is not being met, and when a boundary has been crossed, right? We're seeing it as that and not as the explosion of explosiveness that comes with it, as the aggression part that might come with it.
Yeah. So, Betty, you're not an actress. You're not a star athlete. So, what do you do when you have this anger come up? How do you let the energy out of your body?
Well, I have quite a few things, and I have put them together. This is something that I'm going to share with the people that are listening to this conversation. But I want to get into some of these practices, and I have to say, for the kids, these practices are excellent. I have a 9-year old, and I started with him a few years back, and I can see him reaching for these practices as it comes. I will say that even before he says that he's angry, when I see him doing some of the things, I'm like, oh, okay. He's trying to get some of that anger out without it taking over. So we have different types. We have, for example, impact release. We can do pillow hits. Have you ever like strike a pillow with your hands or with force, move it through your body? We can do ball throws. If you have a ball or something you can throw, and the kids, you know how they have sometimes the bouncing balls, throw it with force, it's coming out. We can do stomp and exhale, like you stomp your feet and then we've seen that while we're moving the body. We can also do from the upper body release. We can do a wall push. This one is absolutely excellent. You're going to get into the wall and you're gonna try to move it. This one is really good as an introduction for the kids to express it, because it's really fun and they feel so strong afterwards that then that anger energy starts to move and just gets them very confident in a sense, right? Okay, push that wall like you're gonna move it. And we also have resistance pull, where we pull strongly against resistance. We have something and maybe we're pulling and giving some force. I like for full body discharges, and this is good. I know you've seen our pets do this. They shake, we shake and we bounce, we shake it out of the body, right? It clears the nervous system, it kind of like moves the energy around. In the more fun side of things, we can do free dance. We can dance, we can put some music really good, with a good beat, and we can just dance, no choreography, just moving our bodies kind of to get it there, right? We can do the stomp and sway in the music, you can stomp to the rhythm of the music. And some really good ones that are for when when you feel that you don't have the words for it, but anger is just there, like kind of like tensing you up, the grip and tension release. We can do the twist and pull with a towel. That one is really good. You get a towel or something and just squeeze it really strongly, right? And then we can do the grip and drop. You hold something really tight and then drop it. This is what we're doing, is we're giving the body what it wants, in a sense. If the body feels tense, you're gonna start playing with this. If you, when you get angry, you feel it in your body and you feel kind of in an escape situations, like you're the type that has to walk away from anger, then we can try some of those stomping or moving, right? We can walk around as well, stretch out, your body wants movement. If you are more of the type that when anger feels comes up, you just want to like hit something, that's when we go to those pillow hits, the ball throw, because your energy wants to be released from the hands and it wants to be outward. And then if you are more of a person that my body tenses up, but I can really express it, that's when we do more of the gripping. We're gonna tense our muscles like they want to be tense, and then we're gonna give them permission to release. So I have a really good list, and this all comes with practice and experimenting. You are going to build your tool for when anger comes, and when it comes this time, I'm gonna try this technique, and if that didn't feel too good, then I can try something else. And like I just mentioned, it could also depend on the situation. Let your body guide you. Your body is the messenger to tell you what it needs.
Yeah, and this is also going to be a chance for you to model healthy emotional regulation for your children, right? So you don't necessarily need to go like hide in the bedroom and make sure your kid's not there and do these practices. Um, you might do them in the room with your kid, or you're going to explain it to them, right? Like, oh, I'm feeling really angry and I have a lot of energy in my body, and I'm going to punch this pillow, right, to help me get this energy out and make sure I don't hurt anything. And I'm going to make sure I have lots of space before I do it so I don't accidentally bump anyone else, right? And you can talk it out loud and model it for them so they know, right? They're not just like, whoa, why is mom hitting a pillow over there? Like, this is really weird. um, you're going to tell them what's happening, and if they're also feeling angry, you can invite them to do it with you, right? Or if you do want that privacy, you can still tell them that and then be like, okay, mom's going to go in her room, and she's going to whatever it is, right? I'm going to shake her, I'm going to stomp, and then I'm going to come back and we can talk about it once I feel calmer.
Definitely keeping the communication for that with all of the emotions. And we've talked about a lot of things from the episode one, but with all emotions, definitely is about opening and the modeling, how we are communicating with our kids, how we're processing all of these emotions in our bodies without putting a label to it as good or bad. Like, this emotion is good, this emotion is bad or negative. We are seeing emotions in a very neutral way, and we're just finding ways for our bodies to express it. So, and then practice, I will recommend, and this is something that I recommend to the parents that I work with. Let's You can practice all of these things that we've been telling you. It is better when you had set aside some time during the day, during the week, whenever, if you have even 3 minutes to get yourself in contact with those parts of you, those emotions that are coming in. Maybe you can sit down for 3 minutes and remember a time that you were really angry about something, and then in that control way, then when I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna stomp, or I'm gonna put some music, or I'm gonna go outside and punch a pillow a few times, right? And we are doing in this control way, because remember, when we are in the moment, things happen really fast, especially anger comes fast. So as we are creating those spaces, we want to have something that we can grab really quickly, and that's going to happen through practice. So, as we see anger in a different light, instead of our enemy or the one that comes to make us feel bad or to make us look bad in front of others, like we can control ourselves. We are going to see anger as as what it is. It's our friend. It's an emotion that cares about us a lot. We're gonna sit with it, we're going to listen to it, and we're going to allow its energy to flow through us in a way that will help us express what we need, what we value with authenticity.
Yeah, you explained that so beautifully. Um, well, we are about at the end of our episode. And if you love this one, I would love if you comment below and let us know, what healthy aggression practice are you going to try the next time you feel angry? Um, the next time we see you guys, we're going to be starting a new series. I know the end of the school year is coming sooner than we realize. So, our next series will be all about summer break and how do we not just survive, but thrive in summer break with our kids, right? How do we keep our cool? How do we keep everyone engaged and having fun, and not feeling like we are counting down until school starts again? So, make sure you stay tuned for our next series. But until then, Betty, where can parents find you if they want to work with you?
Yes, if this conversation resonated with you and you are feeling that pull to grow in the way you show up in your parenting, I love to connect with you. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at your underscore parenting underscore story, where I share tools, reflections, and resources for the driven parents who want their parenting to reflect both fierce leadership and compassion. You can also visit yourparentingstory.com for resources, more information about my work, and to schedule a free curiosity call. where we can explore what's coming up in your parenting and what support might look like for you. And if you'd rather reach out directly, you can always email me at coachbetty@yourparentingstory.com. I love to hear from you. How about you, Ellie? How can we contact you?
Yeah, head to my website at elliechasecoaching.com. You can sign up for my newsletter there. You can also schedule a free curiosity call. We can get to know each other. I can tell you a little bit more about how we can work together, how I can help you parent with more confidence, calm, and connection. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube for all of our content at Ellie Chase Coaching. And we will see you on the next one. Remember, wherever you are from twos to teens, you've got this.